Hi, my name is Lo Wai Meng.
Okay. And my name is Yap Ting Sing.
Okay, today we are going to discuss about a topic. Our topic is reference in architecture brings inspiration or plagiarism. So now we will start from the term reference. So the term reference defines to refer to something. It's like you refer to a source of information.
Next, for the term inspiration, it simply means the process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something, especially to do something creative.
Another one is about plagiarism. Plagiarism is a practice, take people's idea and claim it as themselves. So that is the definition of plagiarism. So we have a few cases here as an example for this topic. So the first case is about an architect, a famous architect, Zaha Hadid, which accuses Japanese architect, which is Kengo Kuma, for copying her design in a design competition. The architect accuses the Japanese architect about the design characteristic. She accuses the Japanese architect about copying the character of her design. Whether or not the character is a style of plagiarism, it is still like a confusing point.
For the next cases, the design of Wang Jing, designed by Zaha Hadid as well, is replicated by the developer in Beijing, which called Mei Quan. Yeah, the appearance just like bean shape, based on the perspective of the observers, say that their appearance look alike. But the developer claimed that the constructions, the plan, the interiors, everything inside the buildings is not the same as what
Zaha Hadid did.
Yeah, Zaha Hadid did. Yeah. The following cases, a China's BBQ restaurant is considered plagiarizing Chapelle de Notre Dame du Port, designed by Le Corbusier. They look exactly the same, so-called imitation by the observers. Yeah.
So after referring to these cases, these examples, so it's hard to define whether it is plagiarized or it is inspired of. We come up with a statement that reference should be the source of inspiration, but not for plagiarism. So we come up with a few arguments here. First argument is that reference should be used as to improve. As an architect, we improve throughout the process. So from the term improvement, it states that one should be better gradually. So we develop through the process, and as an architect, we develop as to fulfill more requirements, like to provide more services for the society. So there are a few examples, like from the Greek architecture. We know that Greek architecture is famous in the dome design, the temples and all that. From the Greek era, it is recorded as those architecture is made out of post and beam. This post and beam architecture from that era is the most basic one. The posts and beams have a shorter span with huge columns. That is the architecture from that era. When it comes to now, the architecture is developed. So from now we can see all the houses and the buildings are still using the post and beam architecture. With more advanced technology, the spans are become longer. We use advanced materials like compressed concrete and all that to make a bigger span. Another example is about the revolution of architecture. Through the revolution of architecture, so another example is about Mies van der Rohe, which is an architect which leads the revolution of modernism. So through this revolution, a new architecture style is introduced, which is minimalism. So in the minimalism architecture style, they focus more on the simplicity, clarity of the design. of architecture. So it emphasized more on the material like glass, steel. They wanted the clarity of the facade, clean, simple, and minimal. Comes up the quote from Mies van der Rohe is less is more. To fulfill this quote, less ornamentations included in the design of that era, the era of Mies van der Rohe. So that is also an example for the development, the improvement through the history of architecture. So it proves that reference should be the source of inspiration, and it's not for plagiarism. Plagiarism will kill the process of improvement. Another argument is about the reference could improve the skill of analysis. So as an architect, we analyze buildings, we analyze the site context, we analyze the user behavior and all that. So through analyzing, of course, architects make mistakes, right? So through analyzing, we know what is the mistakes, and also we know what to be aware of. So we learn, and we know what is wrong, what are the do's and don'ts. And so it also improves our critical thinking skills through the analyzing process. There are also a few examples about this argument. The changing of modern architecture to postmodern architecture. From the modern architecture, the architects emphasize more on the functionalism. Functionalism is an architecture style which they emphasize more on the function. They cut off all the ornamentations. They focus more on the functions of the building. Those aesthetics are being put to the low priority. For the postmodern, they bring back those ornamentations. Bring back all those aesthetics things to the building design. So it shows that the postmodern architecture analyzed through the feedback, the response from the modern architecture, and they improve through the process. And another example is about the environmental sustainability in architecture. So we can see nowadays building designs are more emphasized on the environmental element. Sustainability is becoming the most important thing in designing a building. So architects are now more aware of the climate, the local context, so they can develop through the problems, to solve the problems, to solve these environmental problems. So they can come up with all these sustainable ideas to improve the design of the buildings. It is also to fulfill the requirements of the society. The problem-solving skills will develop coming from the analyzing process. So through the analyzing process, we can come up with more ideas to solve the problems. Another argument is about the professional ethics. So as an architect, we are professionals, so we do have ethics also. It is also a behavior which shows the standard of an architect. As an architect, we serve people, we serve the society. We must follow certain codes and regulations. There are also codes against the plagiarism. By following the codes, plagiarism should be prohibited in the architecture field. So there are of course there are examples of the codes stated, like from the PAM code. It also relates to the copyrights. As an architect, some architects do make copyrights for their designs. So for the copyrights, it will protect their designs from the plagiarism from other architects. The professional ethics, which is a must, I think, a must behavior, an attitude of an architect should be corrected and should be a way, a direction, so architects will pursue their field in a correct way. These are the arguments for the topic. So now we will come to the counterclaim of the topic, so which will brought up by Teng Seng. Yeah.
Okay, in the architectural field, a lot of people claim that plagiarism is acceptable actually. Okay, from what we have found out, the article when architects plagiarize, it stated imitation was the sincerest form of architectural flattery. This kind of attitude is actually established during the Renaissance era, and the architects at the time are trying to recreate the building of ancient Rome. The building built at that time is ruined nowadays, and this causing the architects reconstruct it to give the new generation a better reference. This kind of culture are still carrying on and causing the younger generation learn the principle of learning from and carry the past. So plagiarism is actually increases the productivity of the architectural work. We know that plagiarize is actually can reduce the time spent on thinking a new design, right? So it can produce the drawing. What I mean is the craftsmanship faster, and we can submit the drawing before the deadline earlier. But architects nowadays plagiarize on the others' design to maintain the aesthetic value of the form, the building, and also the functionality of the design, so that they will not require a lot of major changes and less effort is required, and therefore the process is faster as well. But different client actually has different mindset. By plagiarizing, architect cannot understand what the requirement of the client. Yes. So they will produce the design that cannot be satisfied by the client, and this will ruin their career. In short, plagiarizing will lower down the architect's problem solving skill, problem analyzing skill, critical thinking skill, and at the same time it reduces the reliability of the client on the architects. And next, a lot of people also claim that plagiarizing maintain the quality of the building. As we know, plagiarizing is actually can maintain the aesthetic and the functionality of the architect's previous design. There is a special case in Washington. An architect in Washington named Thomas Ustenwater, he copied an architect's design exactly to his own site. Site, just to fulfill his own pleasure. And this deny the need of the talent, but considering the design is copied and causing the architect's lack capability in producing his own new design. So he failed to fulfill his own duty, and this causing his own clients to lose confidence on him due to the lack of professional ethics.
Now comes to to refine the statement of our topic. So our topic is about reference brings inspirations or plagiarism. So our statement is reference brings inspiration. So from the counterclaim, so we are here to make some arguments about that. So actually plagiarism is not good for us architects, because plagiarism causes us to fail to learn. So architects, we learn and we improve, but through plagiarism we learn nothing. So
the next point is because we have to learn from the basic, so that if the architect has no foundation at all, how can he become a professional architect? He will
in future
he will probably hurt the others and causing accident, and he will try to take responsibility on it. It's not a small case actually.
So it also causes bad reputation for an architect who plagiarizes. So it basically just make his career towards a hard way. Plagiarism is not a professional action actually. It is unprofessional to plagiarize someone's work or idea. Of course, an action, it will be followed by the others. So if you commit plagiarism, the other architect also will take advantage of it, and they will continue to plagiarize. So I think it sets a bad example for other architects also. I think that concludes all our topic about reference brings inspiration or plagiarism. But through the arguments, we make a statement here that reference should be the source of inspiration. So thank you for enjoying our video. Thank you for listening. Thank you.